Hey everybody, my name's Carolina Carner and I just love Seesaw. And I just saw that the slide deck was rolled out for our school district. And I just wanted to give you some tips and tricks if you're kind of new to Seesaw. It's an amazing tool for distance learning. And if you watch my video, you will be able to use it in your classroom with your students and know exactly what the teacher view and student view should kind of sort of look like to implement it for distance learning. And there's so many bells and whistles. The kids can write on the screen, they can type on the screen, they can add images to the screen, they can take selfies to put on the screen, they can use their voice to record responses as well. You can upload the Google Docs from the slide deck and make them separate parts of the activity within Seesaw. I explain exactly how to do that. You can either just take a Google Doc directly from the drive and put it in, or you can also take snipping tool pictures of different images if the images on the Google Doc don't display correctly when you put it into Seesaw. There's a way that you can just make it an image and put it in there. Just make sure you check your spacing when you're putting in the activities on Seesaw, and everything will be beautiful and you will love it. And just watch my video and you'll see why. Okay, bye. So right now I'm using Screencast-O-Matic to record my screen, and you can see that this is one of the learning experiences that I'm going to assign to my students next week. Okay, so on here, I'm just going to go to present. You can do the same kind of thing with your students. You can record what's on the screen, go through and talk through each one of the things using a program like Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, whatever you find easier to use. This is the activity that they want my students to complete. I'm going to use Seesaw to help them do this. What I would recommend is getting all the information for the Google Doc that you've got on one page. If you're going to use a program like Seesaw, get it all to where it fits on a screenshot that you can take to put into Seesaw. So how do you do that? I would go right here to 90%. I've got some text down here at the bottom of this page that I need to move up. I'm just modeling how you would do it as well. Okay, and then the activity 2 that they want them to do, I'm going to put it on the next page. Okay, I did want to show you an activity that I'm going to put into Seesaw using the Google Drive. You can use things like the snipping tool to take pictures of different parts of worksheets that you want to put on there if it's not loading properly into Seesaw. But if it works from the Google Drive, the Google Doc that you want to upload, then by all means use the Google Drive. But just make sure the spacing on the worksheet is the way that you want it when it appears in Seesaw. I would just say that like before you upload anything, and I'll show you an example of putting something on from the drive. So let me show you. I'm going to add an assignment, create new activity. I'm going to go back down here to the template section. I'm going to hit upload, select from Google Drive, and then I'm going to go to my documents that I've recently uploaded. And I'm going to go to this copy of photosynthesis activity. This is another one that we're doing for our slide deck for the activity. It says attach to PDF. Okay, so on here you can see that there are multiple pages, and there is a graph down here at the bottom that the students are going to put their data on. So I've got my pencil, so I can put my pencil on. I'm going to get whatever color I want to pick. And then you can actually see that students can mark on the graph. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that you can just upload straight from the Google Drive and take a second picture of that. So here's everything I need for activity 1. If you've never used the snipping tool before, this is how you access it. Snipping tool down here at the bottom left hand side of your page, go to the magnifying glass, and you can click on the snipping tool. I'm going to click that I want a new snip. It's just basically taking a screenshot. You can do it that way as well, but you can save this as a picture, and that's the main reason why I'm using it this way. So I'm going to hit File, Save As. I'm going to go to my folder for Seesaw pictures, and I'm going to call this Matter and Energy and Ecosystems Activity 1. And I'm going to save it into my Seesaw pictures folder. All right, so I have my picture. I'm also, just because I want to do this all at the same time, I'm going to go down here and do this for activity 2 that they've designed. I'm going to hit New. Oops. I actually need to move this a little up. I'm going to take a picture of this one. File, Save As again, and then I'm going to put Matter and Energy and Ecosystems Activity 2. Okay, so I have my activities recorded. What's the next step? One important aspect of Seesaw is that you can record instructions, and a great way to record instructions would it be actually to videotape yourself showing the kids the screen of the activity that they're getting ready to work on, and maybe even like showing them you as you're discussing the directions. So Screencast-O-Matic is one of my favorite tools to use. You can use the free version for up to 15 minutes. You can just show the screen like what I have on here right now. You can do the webcam so the kids can see you. Hey, here I am. Okay, and then you could also do both to where you're showing the kids a screen, but then you're also down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen too while you're talking to the kids about the assignment. So this is one tool, and I'll show you how to incorporate a video clip later on in my video about how to use Seesaw for distance learning. Okay, so here I am again, guys. I'm down here in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm still using Screencast-O-Matic, but I still want to show you that you can do recordings like this to explain how to do things. So just think, I can do this with my lesson too. So up here at the top, I've created a class, and I have a really good video that I'm going to share with you guys as well on just how to set up a Seesaw classroom. But this is how to incorporate what we're using, any kind of Google Doc that you have on the ARC. If you want kids to draw on it, this is a great tool to use. Okay, so this is my distance learning classroom. You can see I have my student here. This is my son that I've added as a student. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Add up here at the top. And right here it says post student work. It says try posting as a student, experience how students demonstrate and share learning Seesaw. That's really cool. But I need to go to assign activity. I'm going to go to my library, and there's tons of things on here that you can use already, and you can see that I've already done some activities with my kids. But I'm going to hit create new activity, and then I'm going to call this Matter and Energy and Ecosystems. And I'm even going to say week 1. And then on here, you would type your instructions. So I'm just going to say, listen and follow the directions on how to do the matter and energy and ecosystems lesson. Make sure you click the green check mark when you are done with the activity. Okay, so the cool thing is you can add, like if you wanted to list out your directions, you could list out your directions right here. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. Step 3, do this. But what I love about this is I can actually go through and add multimedia instructions or example here. And a lot of my kids are visual learners, so I'm going to go ahead and go through and explain the activity to where they can see it see me pointing at things and explaining things so they'll understand what to do. The first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to add a template for student responses. So these are my pictures that I just took. I'm going to add them so you can see how it's going to be placed in their assignment. Here's upload, select from computer. I'm going to go to Seesaw pictures, and I know that I've got to put both of these activities in here. So I'm going to hit both of them and put them in. Okay, then I'm going to hit the check mark. They make it super easy to understand. So here's the check mark. And then I've got my 2 different pages from the Google Doc in Seesaw for my students to use. So if you like the way that it's showing up on the screen, then all you have to do is click the check mark to continue. All right, guys, I wanted to show you, this is Screencast-O-Matic, and you can see on here that I have my Matter and Energy and Ecosystems lesson directions. Every time I save with Screencast-O-Matic, I'm saving things to the desktop of my computer, so that when I want to attach things to Seesaw, it's super, super easy to just pull it right there from the desktop and plop the directions, my visual directions, into Seesaw. So I'll show you how to do that right now. All right, so I just recorded my multimedia instructions for my students, and I want to show you how easy it is to put it into Seesaw. So right here I have add multimedia instructions or example. I'm going to go to upload again. I'm going to go to select from computer. Now I put mine on the desktop. When I save, I automatically save to that section. So I put, did I save it as? Okay, Matter and Energy and Ecosystems lesson directions. Okay, so here are my lesson directions. They're coming up. It takes a second to load because it's a video. And then what I would do is I would go through and just listen to what you have on there to make sure it makes sense. Hey everybody, it's Miss Carter. I'm going to help you work on these activities in Seesaw, okay? You know how we did the human body systems activities the last couple. Okay, so those are the directions that I saved to the desktop. And then I'm referring to the slide deck where the students had to go through and they had to watch particular videos. They had Quizlet games that they performed or got to play. They had an interactive game. So this is now step 3, show what you know. So the kids will have this posted in Google Classroom for them to access. I am telling them that I want them to go to Seesaw so that they can do the activity, so that they can draw on the document. So make sure that they understand to do that as well. Okay, so here we have Seesaw. I'm in Seesaw. I'm going to hit the check mark to move on. It's going to attach it. So here's my video instructions. You can go back up here and make sure that your student directions are very clear. All right, so once you think you got everything the way you want it, we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so once you're done and you're ready to move on, then don't forget to hit the save button. Hello, down here at the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, so now you can see that I've got my lesson all ready to go for my students in Seesaw. I've got my written directions right here. I have the actual version of the video right here that's easy for students to access. I can click on this really fast to show you that it's working. Hey everybody. Okay, and then the template is down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead and assign it. And I'm not going to assign it to my actual kids right now, but I made a distance learning classroom to practice with. I would highly suggest making a fake student, maybe using a different email account. If you can. I'm fortunate. I have my son that I can test things out on because he's a student for Round Rock ISD. And I'm going to hit distance learning, and I'm going to hit down here at the bottom of the screen where it says assign to one class. All right, everybody, this is like literally the most important step after you've created your lesson that you want to post on Google Classroom for your students. Like, how do your kids access Seesaw? So down here at the bottom of the screen, it says students. Here's the directions for the students, but guys, I like this part right here where it says email. It's the bottom right hand corner right here of this little particular pop-up screen. Email students with instructions. I literally just take this information, right click, copy, or you could just hit a copy email, duh. Okay, and then I go back to my Google Classroom. I go to my post, I hit paste, then I take this app.seesaw.me, right here, copy it. I'm using my mouse. And then down here where it says link, you hit link, and then put the link to Seesaw on here to make it easier for the kids, and then hit post. Okay, from this screen, I'm going to show you how a student would access the assignment and what kind of tools they can use. But just let me make sure I've signed out of my teacher account, and I'm going to go into my son's student account so that y'all can see how to do this. I'm logging out, signing out. That's something useful to know too. How do you sign out? And then I'm going to get off the screen and go back to the way that the kids would access this from Google Classroom. So they're going to hit this app.seesaw.me. They need this code if they've never gone in before. But if students have already been into Seesaw before, all they're going to have to do is sign in with Google, because this is actually linked with Google Classroom. I imported all my students, and I can show you how to do that in a bit if you don't know how to do it. So I'm going to click Seesaw. They're going to go in as I'm a student. They're going to sign in with Google. Okay, this is my student, which I will get rid of that screen. Okay, and he signed in with Google, and here's the first activity. And then he's going to hit add a response, and it's actually me. I'm pretending to be my son. Okay, which is really weird right now. But I'm a student, so these are the tools that the kids get to see. They can view the instructions if they want to. They can watch the video again as many times as they need to know what the directions are. You're talking through the activity. They have different tools that they can use down here at the bottom. If they want to use a pencil, they can change the color. Hi. Just showing you how to use the tools. Okay, if they want to use text, a lot of my students like to use text. They can go ahead and put producer type things. If the box is too big, because my kids are like, that's too big, you can click on, oops, gotta grab it. Gotta have that thing pop up. And you can move things to a different location. You can shrink the boxes. You can add shapes that you might want your students to use. They just have to be able to click and drag with their mouse. Oops. You can make everything smaller. You can rotate things like this. Just to show you how to use the images. They can take pictures of different things if they have items that they want to include. So they can upload images, or they could take photos. Hello. And if they don't want to, they can just click off of that. Okay, they can record them talking through the activity if that's something that they want to do. They can go to the second page of the document and then do this activity as well. And then the last thing that they want to do is hit the green button to submit. So I hope this helps you guys get started with what the student view looks like from Seesaw and how it integrates with Google Classroom as well. So they're going to hit the check mark when they're done. And then it says waiting for teacher approval. And this is when you would come in and you would look at the student's assignment. Okay, we're in the student view, and you can see that my son has turned in his assignment, but he can actually go in and open the assignment up again. And if you look down here, there's 3 little buttons in the bottom right-hand corner. I would suggest showing your students this. And then you go to, what does that say?
Edit item.
Edit item. And then he's back on the screen again, and you can see that he does have access to his tools again. But this is one cool thing that I wanted to show you about Chromebooks. Can you write an answer, write something on the screen with your finger? If they've got the touch screen Chromebooks, they can write their answers on their paper. Can you draw some arrows and stuff with your finger too? So if you have like an old stylus that you don't use anymore at home, you can totally use that. They sell these cute little pencils that are styluses as well that kids can use to write on the screen if they have a touch screen. But this is just another tip of how you can use, you can write on the screen on a Chromebook. It's pretty awesome. And this is from the student view. So hit the check mark to say that you're done, Holton. Use your finger. Use your finger. Use your finger. That's awesome. Okay, thanks. All right, so right now you can see that my one student has turned in their assignment. I can review the assignment and see what he's done. And you can see where I wrote hi and I put my text box on here. And this would be filled in if it was actually a student, but I was just demoing this. And then you can approve what they've done if you think that they've done a good job. Okay, so how do you import students from Google Classroom so that all they have to do is click on the Gmail link? They probably won't even need the class code at that point, but just in case, you know, have all your bases covered, I would click on the link when you set up your class and you have your assignment in there, and I would go down to where it says import from Google Classroom. The beauty and the magic right here, the beauty and the magic. So my students that are in my Google Classroom that are already set up, all you gotta do is hit update and any new kids are going to be dumped into your class. So I don't have any new students, so you just see my son. But that would just be a way if you needed to import all your students in one swoop, that would be a way to get all your students in there. And then over here to the side, you should see all their names populate. So I hope that this little tutorial has helped you guys out. I know it's a lot of information. Please feel free to reach out to me at Carolina_Carner@roundrockisd.org. If you need any help with setting up your Seesaw account or any help with like how I did any of the things in the video. So have fun learning with your students using Seesaw and Google Classroom.